All right, let's talk about Koda. I feel like it's been a while since I've done a voiceover, but I think that was only a couple videos ago, my last voiceover. Either way, let's get into this. I recently tried to bathe Koda, and once again, I did not record it. Why? Because of my excuse. I just want it to be between me and my horse, and in this case, my friend as well. My friend was there to help me, who was very kind enough to try to help me bathe Koda. I just wanted a little extra bit of support. I wanted to see Koda's reaction to a new person being around. She had actually met Koda before, and Koda had actually met her. I don't think he would know that, though, because he was on all the drugs, all the sedation. That is a whole nother story, but that was a situation of colic. Oh my gosh, was that a scary one. It's a lot to go into. So, it's been a while since Koda had seen this person. Whether or not he recognized her, I don't know. But he was very curious about her, really wanted to check her out, and he was pretty kind. He had his little things that he does with the nipping and the whatnot. I don't think he does any of it to be mean. He's like a teething puppy. I don't really know why he does it. That is something to continue to research, talk to vets about, talk to trainers about, see how I can combat it. But that is not the topic of today. Today is about the bath that I attempted to give Koda. And let me tell you, it was dramatic. My parents watched from afar. I wish they were eating popcorn because I think it would add to the effect of the show that was put on. So yeah, what was I expecting from the bath, okay? I was expecting him to be reactive and nervous, the typical thing, and I was expecting him to shy away from the hose because he's done that before when I've tried to, just see what his reaction to the hose was going to be. But I wasn't expecting him to be dramatic to the extent that he was. It started off just fine. It really did. I went up his leg. I always start with the legs when bathing a horse, and then I work my way across their body. And he was fine. He was taking it. I made sure to have hay during this experience so he had something to eat and take his attention, elsewhere besides just, oh my gosh, there's water going down my body. This is horrific. I'm going to die. I wanted his brain as far away from that thought as possible. And yes, the hay definitely helped. So as I, went to go put soap on his body and everything, first I started off with just soaking his body down. Obviously, I don't want to put soap on a dry horse. That doesn't make sense. Do you do that when you wash your hair? I don't think so. But I went ahead and I just put some water all over his body. I only started off actually on one side just to kind of see what his reaction was going to be. If it was going to be too dramatic to handle, if we need to work on more desensitizing, and it went okay. He was a little, he walked away a little bit, but he was okay. And then we were like, okay, we're just going to take the soap. I decided to hold him, and I decided to have my friend just go ahead and put a strip of soap down his back. And that's when he was like, okay, what the heck is happening? And when the soap got closer to his butt, and when it did get to his butt, it was like, oh, absolutely not. And he kind of tucked his butt in as if he was like, how do I describe it? Like a child or a puppy running away from a spanking, or like running away out of fear, like that they're gonna get hit. It was very sad. Like I was like, oh, that's okay. So he has some butt shyness, which I've kind of had that idea that he was a bit shy about his hind end, and that makes sense. So he started running away, and he went straight to his morning, late morning nap area, where he likes to just sunbathe and roll. And he drops his head down, and it's clear he's going to try to roll. He is on a lead rope. I don't want him rolling. That's dangerous. And he had soap on his back, and I didn't want soap and mud mixed together. I didn't want that experience, because at the very least, I had to get the soap rinsed off him and off of him if he was gonna, throw a fit like he did. So I was trying to bring him back and try to keep him from, rolling, and he got frustrated, he got overwhelmed, and he started rearing. He reared twice out of just he was overwhelmed, he didn't know what to do, he reared twice. So next time I will be bringing a helmet out for me and my friend to wear. I should have done that to begin with. It didn't pop in my head. That's something I have noticed, just aside, going off track here. I have noticed that at the barns that I have been at, and comparing in YouTube videos from out of country, I don't know if it's just the barns I've been at. I've not been at many barns. Other countries, I've seen them always wear a helmet when they go to work with a horse, even on the ground. Not always, but especially with younger, greener horses, you see them leaving the paddock with a helmet on. I need to get in the habit of wearing my helmet more often, because it actually makes sense why they still wear a helmet on the ground in case they have a horse that rears like I do. So yeah, so now I figured out at this point that when Koda gets so overwhelmed, he's gonna rear. So my goal here was, I need to bring him back to me. I need to bring him, calm him down. I want to see if he's all of a sudden going to fear me, because we know that Koda, comes from an unknown background where he is afraid of him, being hit. He's clearly not had the most gentle life. Once I brought him back down, he was a bit reactive to my hand going near his face. So I, had to be a bit more careful about that and make sure he checked me out. But he did always come back. Not once in this whole session that we had did he ever go to try to attack me or my friend that was a stranger, and I think that's a huge deal. I really do think that's a huge deal. Instead, he came straight back down to me. I don't know if I'm explaining this well, but I'm still going to try to take y'all through it. So she was, let's just say, 20 feet over and out of the way while I just kind of talked to Koda, pet him, and while we're kind of sitting or standing next to his rolling spot, I go ahead and I just see what his reaction is to me starting to rub the soap in, and he was a bit reactive. He felt very uncomfortable, so he started walking. Eventually, it was okay, and my friend, I should go ahead and say her name. Her name's M. She helped me kind of redirect his attention to the hay. I'm very glad I had the hay out there, and I'm very glad I had her help to kind of redirect his attention. So we did, bring him back to the hay. I do also want to go back to the rearing. So rearing. Let's talk about rearing. Rearing is one of those things that I did not want in a horse. Every horse can do it, every horse is capable of it, and some horses just don't. And Koda apparently does. He has, I think, he's reared a total of 5 times now that I've had him at the house. Don't know if he reared at the boarding facility. I wasn't there enough to know. He reared 3 times during the bathing session, and he's reared twice when he's just playing and gets excited. So I've noticed that the rearing seems to be just a connection to, I am overwhelmed with either negativity when we're talking about the bath, where he's just scared and frustrated because he can't get away from it and get it off his back, or where he's, playing and gets overly excited about his food, which was the other day. And I don't mind if a horse rears on his own, where he's just excited. I mean, go for it. But when it's on a lead rope, no, that's a whole nother story. Rearing is incredibly dangerous. It's a behavior that I do not at all want to reward or condone or teach. In this situation, it was actually kind of difficult because it's like, okay, I need to calm my horse down, but I also need to let him know that rearing isn't okay. So how do you let him know that rearing is not okay? I don't remember the order that I did things, but I had to mix in, no, I don't want that behavior, and calm down, you're okay. I genuinely don't remember how I did it though, so I can't say. Doing my best to try to recall, I think I immediately told him, hey, no, I don't want that behavior, but I also talked to him in a manner that helped him kind of bring him back down to the ground. I kept myself away from him, and as he came down, I slowly inched closer to him to kind of reconnect with him. So rearing, yeah, I don't want to condone it, and it was a bit of a shock that he reared, but it was like, okay, I guess I shouldn't be too shocked. I want to get this soap off his back. He's a bit overwhelmed. So we managed to get him back to his hay, and he went straight back to eating, and my friend and I, we just ended up gently scrubbing in the soap. But my stupid self let her scrub soap in to his hind end and in that hip area, and he's obviously not used to working with her, so he tried to get away, tried to roll again. He got frustrated when I didn't let him. He did not rear. So we very quickly corrected this, and I switched spots. She rubbed soap into his shoulder. I rubbed soap into his back half of his body, and he was fine. He ate his hay, and we talked to him, we rewarded him, and every now and again, he would get overwhelmed, he'd get nervous, he'd tuck his butt in, or he wouldn't, and he would just start walking away. He'd try to leave, and he'd try to roll. So he clearly didn't like the feeling of the soap and the water on his back, but I was very proud of him for coming back to me each time he got overwhelmed. He'd let me pet him, we'd sit there, we gently work things out. When he was doing an unwanted behavior, I asked him to come back to me, and as soon as he was calm, he was standing the way I wanted, whether or not I was scrubbing soap into him, whether or not he was afraid and had walked away, as soon as he stood and was calm, he was rewarded. I didn't bring treats into this because we need to work on his treat manners, which is going to be a whole nother thing and a separate thing, because his ground manners aren't great, so sometimes there's a bit of a pain trying to get him to walk with me and bring him back to the hay, but he always ended up doing it. And at some point, I finally realized, and I was very frustrated with myself, that I have like some sort of like prep cue that I use with Koda. So I count down from a number and I ask him, are you ready? Or I say, you ready? And then I count down. One of the two, but either way, it lets him know I'm about to do something that makes him a bit uncomfortable. Or I'm about to do something, just period, that might make him a bit uncomfortable. As soon as I started doing that, and I'm so frustrated I didn't remember this, it made the bathing session so much easier to finish. Sometimes I have this bad habit of going into a focus state, and sometimes I just completely forget to say, oh, good boy, yes, sir, you're doing so good. I forget to reward. So luckily I had her kind of remind me and also reward him at the same time. When it comes to getting that soap off and continuing the bath or trying to finish the bath, I can't suddenly speed up and quickly get it off him, because then he's like, if he notices that energy change with me, my friend, of rushing to get whatever's off of him, that's just going to stress him out further, and I don't want that. We got through the hosing session, we got the soap off, and we decided we're just going to end it there. He has half a clean body, half of his body smells great. We're going to hang his hay back up, and we're going to let him take the rest of the evening off. We're done, okay? And he took the next day off, and my friend and I went to TJ Maxx, because why not, That prep queue, I'm so happy I started doing that, because that has saved me in so many different occasions. This was a complete learning experience for how to go forward when I bathe Koda next, and that I should have spent more time desensitizing the hose and just the water before also introducing soap. And the hose definitely needs to be introduced right now, since we are, I don't know if it's summer already, but either way, we're going into summer and it is hot, it is humid, and I want to be able to cool them off. This session, it was an eye-opener for me, that's for sure. I will definitely be going about this differently going forward and bathing differently. I have to say I'm very proud of Koda, because not once did he result to attacking me because he was afraid or frustrated. He expressed his frustrations, and clearly I need to try to figure out ways to redirect that frustration, or I need to learn how to teach him other ways to express, hey, I'm frustrated. So yeah, I think I did push him a bit too far, and I think I learned my lesson about that. I hope I did. Koda worked through something scary, and it opened my eyes to things that need to be targeted and desensitized. He was the most reactive towards anything going near his hind end. I want to get my friend out there more often to see him, to groom him, not to just bathe him, to love on him and give him treats. I want more people to love on him and give him treats, get him used to new people coming around him, because that's going to happen. There's going to be vets, there's going to be strangers, going to be farriers. It made for an extremely impactful learning experience, and I am putting it out there, all my mistakes, all my stupid mistakes, and all the stupid things I did, because I don't want people to do it also, Guys, if you have new horses or green horses, put more thought into how you go about things. That should just be common sense, and clearly it wasn't for me that day. Oh my gosh.